Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, welcome to the class of Human Resource Management. Today we will be discussing specifically about motivation. Dear students, motivation is a key concept in the domain of human resource management and organizational behavior. It refers to the psychological processes that stimulate, direct, and sustain human behavior towards achieving specific goals. Now, in an organizational context, motivation influences employee performance, job satisfaction, and overall productivity. Motivation can be intrinsic, that is driven by internal rewards like personal growth or enjoyment, or extrinsic, that is driven by external rewards like pay, bonuses, or promotions. In human resource management, understanding motivation is essential for effectively managing and leading people, designing compensation systems, developing performance management practices, and fostering a positive organizational culture. Now, motivated employees are more likely to be engaged and contribute to organizational goals and exhibit larger or higher levels of job satisfaction, which ultimately leads to the success of organization. Over the years, several early motivational theories have provided the foundational insights into what drives the human behavior, particularly in the workplace. These theories actually emphasize different aspects of the human needs, behaviors, and organizational dynamics. Let us explore some of the most influential early theories. The very first theory is the Maslow hierarchy of the needs. One of the most well known early theories of the motivation is this very particular theory that was proposed by Abraham Maslow in 1940s. This theory suggests that the human needs are arranged in kind of an hierarchical order from the basic psychological needs to higher level of physiological needs and self-fulfillment needs. Now, according to Maslow, individuals are motivated to satisfy needs at the lower levels of the hierarchy before moving to the higher levels or the higher tiers. The five levels that I am actually talking about of the Maslow's hierarchy needs include different, tiers. The very first is the basic set of the needs involving such as food, water, shelter, and the rest. In the workplace, this can translate into fair wages and job security. Then comes the level of the safety needs, that is the second level, the need for the security and stability, including physical safety, job security, and health benefits. Then comes the third kind of a need that is referred to as the need of the love and belonging or the social needs, such as friendship, relationships, and sense of belonging in the workplace. Now, the fourth set of the needs that become activated as the first three levels are satisfied, if they are satisfied in the first place, is the need of the self-esteem, that is the desire for self-respect, recognition, and achievement. Employees seek recognition, status, and respect from peers and supervisors. Finally, we have the final level, that is the level of the self-actualization, the highest level representing the need for the personal growth, creativity, and fulfilling one's potential. This includes the desire to accomplish the meaningful work and reach one's full potential. Now, dear students, the Maslow's theory suggests that once lower level needs are satisfied, individuals become more motivated by higher level needs. In the context of the human resource management, this means that organizations should first ensure that employees' basic needs are met, for example, fair pay and job security, before expecting them to focus on the achievement of the self-fulfillment or higher level needs. Then we have another theory, that is the McGregor theory, and then the theory Y, theory X and theory Y, that was proposed in 1960s. The theory X and theory Y are two contrasting views of the human nature and motivation in the workplace. These theories are often used to understand the management styles and how they influence the employee motivation. Theory X assumes that employees are inherently lazy, avoid responsibility, and need to be closely supervised and controlled. Managers who adhere to theory X tend to use a controlling and authoritarian approach, believing that the employees must be motivated through external rewards or punishments like salaries, job security, and threats of punishment. This view leads to a more rigid and hierarchical organizational structure. Then we have theory Y, on the other hand, that assumes that the employees are self-motivated, they are capable of self-direction and eager to take on responsibility. Managers who adhere to theory Y believe that the employees are motivated by a sense of personal growth, achievement, and autonomy. Now, these managers are more likely to implement a participative management style, empowering employees to contribute to decision making processes and providing opportunities for personal growth. This set of theories, that is the theory X and theory Y, basically highlight the importance of the management's role in motivation, in shaping the motivation of the employees. A theory Y approach, which emphasizes trust, autonomy, and responsibility, tends to foster more motivated, engaged, and productive employees. Then we have a third theory, that is the Herzberg two-factor theory. Frederick Herzberg developed two-factor theory, also known as the motivation hygiene theory, in 1950s. The Herzberg theory suggests that there are two distinct set of factors that influence the employee satisfaction and motivation. Hygiene factors, that are the dissatisfiers. These are the basic factors that, if absent or inadequate, can lead to dissatisfaction in the workplace. However, their presence does not necessarily lead to motivation. These factors include security and benefits, job security. They include these hygiene factors include working conditions, company policies, and administration, and also relationship with the supervisors and with the colleagues as well. Now, dear students, while hygiene factors are essential to preventing dissatisfaction, they do not create motivation. In other words, employees will not be motivated by just having these factors, they merely prevent dissatisfaction. Then we have a second set or the second set of the factors, that is the motivators or the satisfiers. These factors lead to higher levels of motivation and job satisfaction. They are related to the nature of job itself and the opportunities for personal growth, achievement, and recognition. Motivators include achievement and recognition, opportunities for advancement, work that is interesting and challenging, responsibility and autonomy, and personal growth and development. Now, Herzberg theory suggests that to truly motivate employees, organizations must focus on improving the motivators. Simply addressing hygiene factors may prevent dissatisfaction, but it will not lead to enhanced motivation. Now we have some contemporary theories of motivation as well. While early theories like Maslow's two-factor theory and the Herzberg theory, two-factor theory by the Herzberg or the theory X or theory Y, laid the groundwork, contemporary theories of motivation build upon these ideas, actually often incorporating new insights from psychology, behavioral economics, and management practices. Some of the most influential contemporary theories include the SDT, that is the self-determination theory, that was developed by Edward Deci and Richard Ryan. Then we have self-determination theory that focuses on intrinsic motivation, emphasizing the role of autonomy, competence, and relatedness in fostering motivation. Now, according to this very particular theory, employees are motivated when they feel. Employees are very much productive when they feel motivated. They feel autonomous. They have the freedom to make choices and control their own actions. They feel capable of achieving success and mastering challenges. And moreover, they experience a sense of connection and belonging with others. Now, this SDT suggests that the organizations can enhance motivation by creating work environments that satisfy these psychological needs, leading to higher intrinsic motivation and greater job satisfaction. Then we have another theory that is titled as expectancy theory, proposed by Victor Room in 1960s. Expectancy theory presents the argument that motivation is based on the belief that the effort will lead to performance and that performance will lead to the desired outcomes. The theory suggests that the employee's motivation depends on three factors. Expectancy, that is the belief that the effort will lead to desired performance. For example, if I work hard, I will meet my targets. Instrumentality, the belief that the performance will lead to rewards. That is, if I meet my targets, I will receive a bonus. The valence, that is the value the employees place on rewards. For example, I value the bonus because it helps me achieve my personal goals. Now, for motivation to be high, all three factors must align. If employees do not believe their efforts will lead to performance, will lead to poor performance, or if the rewards are not valued, then motivation will decrease. We have another theory as well that is referred to as the equity theory. presented by the John Adams. The equity theory focuses on the idea that employees are motivated by fairness and equity in the workplace. According to this theory, employees compare their input-output ratios, that is the effort versus rewards, with those of the others in the organization. If they perceive inequality, whether they are being under rewarded or over rewarded compared to their peers, they may experience frustration and demotivation. In human resource management, it is important for the organizations to maintain fairness and transparency in compensation, recognition, and job responsibilities to keep employees motivated. Now, dear students, to conclude, understanding motivation is crucial for managing human resources effectively. Early theories, the theory of, for example, of Maslow or the theory X or theory Y, laid the foundation of how we view employee needs and workplace dynamics. Contemporary theories, on the other hand, such as the self-determination theory, expectancy theory, and the equity theory that I just discussed, offer more, advanced insights into the psychological drivers of the motivation and emphasize the importance of fairness and autonomy and rewarding effort as well. Now, in HRM, applying these theories can help design effective motivation strategies that cater to both intrinsic and extrinsic needs of employees, ultimately enhancing performance, satisfaction, and retention in the workplace. Thank you.